Hi everyone, my name is Melissa and this is Ramazan. This is the Student Minds podcast, and today's episode is on technology and how it's affecting mental health. Today, our guest is Dr. Martin. Hi, Dr. Martin.
Hello, how are you guys doing?
We're all right, excited to hear about your research and everything. And
thank you so much for coming down today and taking that time out and from, I'm sure, a very, very busy schedule. I guess we'll get straight into it.
Sure.
Just, I guess, introduce yourself and what do you do and, yeah.
Sure. My name is Martin Dechant. As you probably hear from my German accent, I'm originally from Germany. I'm a lecturer for digital mental health at University College London. My position is split between two departments. On one side, I'm in the UCL Interaction Center, which is all around human-computer interaction, computer science, AI, technology, mumbo-jumbo. And then on the other side, we have the Clinical Education and Health Psychology department, which is all around clinical psychology, detection and prevention, and intervention design for mental health needs. And I'm basically my job, or my destiny, as our head of department said, or our faculty said once, is like to build the bridge between departments, like between computer science, mental health, engineering.
So you're the chosen one. Basically.
I don't have any rings or anything yet, so let's see what UCL has in the petto for that.
Would you mind telling us a little bit about how you got into your research, or like what kind of drove you to start?
Right. So, long time ago.
In a land far, far away.
Called Germany. My undergrad dissertation was all around developing horror games and making horror games as much spooky as possible.
Oh, that's so cool. Okay.
Oh, no.
So, and for that, basically, I used eye tracking technology, basically, which was a sensor or it is a sensor where you can track where people are looking at the screen. And the funny part was the eye tracking laboratory was next door to the clinical psychology office. So on one side, so like I was there setting up the game, and then it's like my participants were playing the game and screaming and everything. And then at one point, Yusuf, my friend, came out from his office, from the clinical psychology. He was like, "What are you guys doing?" And I was like, "Yeah, we're playing horror games." So like, we're testing it right now. And he was like, "Yeah, actually, I'm doing the same." It's like, "What is this?" It's called exposure therapy, but instead of doing horror games, we're doing spider exposure. So
that's horrifying.
Yes, like he had his small terrarium with like 3 tarantulas in there. Yeah, and he used that like also for therapies. Like the goal was when you're going to exposure therapy with if you have spider phobia, that you learn that's like it's just a cute cute creature, which is like
I don't know about cute, but yeah.
Okay, so they're fluffy. They're really.
Oh, that's horrible.
So that's like the tarantula he tried on me is like I think Sheshivara his their name was, like he put it on my hand. It's like he was just sitting there and just doing nothing. It's like very fluffy. But but that's what basically is like the first step where I was like learning. It's like, oh, okay, actually it's like video games and technology have like some impact on mental health. Then I went into industry, did my master, and then during my master, I got in contact with Regan Mandrick, my PhD supervisor, later on. So I had an interview, which was the funniest thing ever. I was in Sweden at that time, worked for a company there, and she's in Canada, Saskatchewan. And I had my interview with her at 10 p.m. And as technology loves to do it, like the machine spirits were
Something went wrong.
Of course.
Of course.
So webcam failed. So like, I was prepared, as like panicking. It's like she showed up on my screen, Skype at that time. It's like, oh, hi. So like, how are you? It's like, yeah, I'm Martin. It's like, yeah, could you please turn on the camera? No, I can't. But here's an image of me. It's like, okay, fine.
Oh, wow.
I know your face. And then basically we were talking about technology and stuff, and she was like, oh yeah, based on your CV, I wasn't sure if you're a computer scientist or if you're just this design person. I was like, excuse me, ma'am? I was like, I was working as a developer and UX designer at this time. So like it was basically both. Went to Canada, did my PhD there, and then one topic popped up again, which was mental health. And an interesting part was like, again, then I was talking with Yusuf, my friend from my undergrads. And he was like, yeah, have you heard about this social anxiety thing? I was like, what is this? Yeah, it's like people who are scared of connecting with other people. It's like, yeah, sign me up. That's me. And then basically it's like, okay, social anxiety, this intense fear of being evaluated and judged and like everything's like exploring that.
Yeah.
And which was interesting was then there's like this kind of passion, or like an overlap between people who have social anxiety, that they're also very drawn to video games and using video games as a way to socialize and to like satisfy and find friends.
Yeah.
And then basically this idea was born for the research to explore how video game data can tell us more about social anxiety. Mental health and technology, that's mine. And yeah, then after my PhD, I took a short term back into industry, eye health and technology. Then UCL decided, hey, you're clever enough to work with us. Like, all right, sure, coming over. And that's how I came. And that's also how I got into mental health and technology.
Interesting. I have a question, actually. So you've kind of mentioned how you moved around a lot for your studies. How did you find sort of that transition of going to different countries, integrating, and speaking of social anxiety as well? How did you find that experience?
Difficult. So
Difficult,
like it's always a challenge, right? So for example, the first time I moved to Sweden, it's like it was not an English-speaking country, so there was always a language barrier. So it was very hard to find friends and finding the connection. Plus, I was in that headspace at that time, like working, and therefore like basically neglecting all my social needs. So at some point, depression and anxiety was like knocking on my door. So I didn't feel comfortable in that time, and then basically it's like I had this. Okay, I'm going back into academia, and then in Canada it became a little bit better or easier because then the lab was different. Like first of all, there was no language barriers. Like everybody was at least English speaking. We had also this kind of same passions. Like everybody was doing video games research one way or another. So I was doing the mental health stuff. Then we had other people who were doing learning and video games. So Regan collected all the games researchers from around the world. It's like put them into Saskatchewan. So if you look on the map of Canada, so like into the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So we went there. So that was basically where it became easier, and so like also relearned social skills, like which is something quite interesting. This kind of how your social skills are almost like a muscle. It's like not exercising it in quotation marks. You becoming weaker in that sense, like
actually I see what you mean. I have that sometimes when like I get really overwhelmed with studying or something, and then I just lock myself in my room and I just game, and I don't talk to someone for like a few days at least, or a week or something, and then when I go back like to talk to people, it just feels so difficult compared to when I see people every day, and then I have activities every day, and then all of a sudden, like, I don't know how to speak, I don't know what to say anything, and it's just really difficult.
So like this onboarding, and that's something where you're like,
for sure.
Okay, hi person, how do I interact with this?
What are words?
Yeah, exactly. So like, and that is something which I think became even more difficult for people during the pandemic times.
Yeah, COVID for sure.
Yeah, we were all basically forced to. Yeah, you're not allowed to talk to anybody anymore.
For sure.
But yes, like that's like there's a lot of personal challenges in that sense. Like you need to open up, and you need to accept this kind of vulnerability towards that people maybe reject you. And that's something, of course, for somebody who is on the social anxiety spectrum, it's of course something, it's like, I don't wanna, it's like, it's very scary. And it's like, then on the other side, it's like now in London, I found connection through my friends now. So like I was actually like putting a lot of effort into that. It's like, I want to have friends again. But like it was a steep uphill fight the first weeks. Like you're like,
I have a question about the COVID stuff.
Yeah.
So since we're talking about technology this episode, I was wondering, does your research cover how basically our generation especially, and since COVID, we've communicated with people a lot just through technology and through phones and through laptops and everything, and how kind of that affects everyone and how it affects socializing and society? Because personally, I found that it feels a lot more difficult to connect to people, but I'm just wondering from your perspective how that's...
From my perspective, it is, I can agree to that. There was a huge shift in how to be socialized. Like from my personal experience, the moment basically the university closed, I had to reshuffle basically my whole PhD because everything was built around, okay, I want to do VR and AR studies, but then the university was like, yeah, you can't do this anymore, no in-person stuff. So my whole PhD would have been delayed for years. So then basically we made the decision, okay, everything is going to be an online game. It's like basically looked into how World of Warcraft and all these kinds of games could be used there. Now, when it was opening up, basically this kind of it is this kind of shift towards like the acceptance towards more, okay, we want to have social technology through communication through technologies, like text becomes more preferred. So for example, there is the avoidance of phone calls. So like most people hate now phone calls. It's like the decline basically, if you look, for example, into offices these days, like who has an actual phone there? Everything is through a laptop, for example, which is like a chat. Why?
That's so true, actually.
And so it is something which is quite interesting. So like from a human-computer interaction perspective, and we're looking into how the communication platforms and everything change, like how communication changes and the demands from users. So like, can this be a text? It's like, can we be available through an email, for example? It's like the value of the different communication channels is something which is quite shifted. So to coming back to your questions, yes, there is a shift that people were forced for 2 years to stay in there and to like live in there. It's like made it more comfortable. Therefore, the question is raising is like, why should they come back into offices and public spaces?
Yeah.
Because technology allows that, like to say, okay, I can stay outside, but I can stay in my bubble, but you are missing a lot of social cues. And it's like a lot of these kinds of social activities, because we are humans and we are social creatures. And so technology in this kind of one sense allows us to be together apart at the same time. But on the other side, we are missing out a lot of social interactions. So another example, you have to stop me if I'm talking too much.
No, this is good.
Another interesting example is scientific conferences. So during COVID, like all these conferences were online.
Online,
like
yeah.
hybrid experiences, where basically we're all sitting on a Zoom call and watching videos together or presentations together, and then it's like maybe one question is happening. And my first talks were basically all from my living room. When you're doing this online presentations, I'm faking now that I'm in an office wearing like a suit up here.
Yeah.
So
the amount of memes about people just wearing like a shirt during COVID and that's it, and pajama like trousers and everything.
And so like the fun was actually more like to decipher like, where is this person right now? It's like, sure, you're in an office. Yeah,
we know where you actually are.
Yeah, and then it's like when people became more and more fancy, it's like, oh, I'm on a treadmill. Look, I'm walking. Yeah, look how fancy I am. And that's like more and more like this. But then the hybrid experiences came in place, where basically it's like, okay, people can't travel or don't want to travel.
Yeah.
But then on the other side, you want to reconnect with people in person.
Yeah.
And now we have this kind of conflict. On one side, it is unbelievably hard to create hybrid experiences which are positive for both sides, because it's like hybrid experiences have completely different requirements than in-person requirements. And the shift towards in the conferences space is now that everybody wants to connect again in person.
Yeah.
And that's something which is quite interesting if you think about, like, it is bouncing back now. We want to have social experiences in these kinds of connecting spaces, but like in the work environment, we're still like, not really.
So just a question, I guess, in this segment is obviously we've technology has given us amazing things and that ability to kind of connect without being close during COVID and everything. And obviously with with education and like you say, different conferences. But when can we see kind of signs that use of technology is becoming unhealthy?
So there are multiple points we need to unravel here. So like one point is, of course, once a technology is like actually like you feel physical harms, like for example your eyes becoming dry, or it's like you have any pains, like this is always like your body is signing you literally like, we need to take a break, or this is unhealthy right now. Listen to your body.
Yep.
When it comes to technology on one side. Another point is of when it comes to, like, the WHO is always terming this, or coining this term of functioning. It's like, are you social functioning? Are you actually there in your world, or are you basically just always retracting yourself from the actual world? So when we're talking about problematic gaming,
That's me, guys. It's me.
Me too. According to my parents, like I'm addicted to video games. So I'm like
100% same.
But every time I'm coming home, it's like, Mom, I'm researching about digital health.
It's not just a phase, Mom.
I'm doing, it's my job. I have to do video games. Yeah, so going back to like, for a very long times, like you have always this kind of screen time as a measurement of well-being. It's like, oh, you're doing too much screen time. But if you think about that, it's like most of our world is now on screens. Like when you wake up, what is the first thing you do? You look at the screen and you unlock. You stop your watch. Then it's like if you're connecting with somebody, if you need to order something, it is on the screen. So the point is about: are you aware of why you are on the screen? Are you explicitly saying, "Oh, I have
That's an
now
amazing point." Yeah,
leisure times." Like for example, like okay, I'm feeling like, for example, I like to play now. Oh God, what I'm playing now. Anno 1800 again. That is my COVID game. It's like, okay, I have done everything. I'm feeling fine, so like time to relax. And it's the same as like, for example, if you think about it's like, oh, I want to read a book or something like that. And it is something to look out, for example, to have this kind of be aware of the time. It's like you're spending in. It's like, are you enjoying the time? Or are you just basically like just sitting there and it's like turning into this kind of digital zombies, like
brain rot? That's actually something I wanted to ask about. What do you think about? We spend all this time on like our phones or on technology, and all of it is brain rot. What do you think about it?
Oh, that's a very interesting one. On one side, so sometimes it's like this kind of guilty pleasure. I'm doing it as well. It's like this kind of you just want to like having a tough conversation, like when you have to work through something very, very difficult for a very long time. Like again, it's like almost like this muscle, like your brain is like squeezed and crushed. So like, oh my God, I have to do something, and then you just want to relax, like you want to restore your attention, and that's basically where these kinds of just watch something stupid, like something
stupid,
where you can recover, where you can do something. It's like these kinds of guilty pleasures where you feel like, okay, your brain is like, you don't have to overuse.
Think, so like, I guess,
that is something where I'm like sitting there, like I'm keeping the balance in that sense. Also with food, like sometimes you just craving something, it's unhealthy, but it's like, okay, maybe I need to do that. But it's an interesting point when it comes to brain rot. But the question is how the brain rot is used against you. It's like this kind of,
and how much can do. So
for example, if you look in how Instagram or TikTok is designed from an app, it leaves you alone. In that sense, like it's just one swipe to get the new content. And then basically this optimization towards that, you're always getting something, you get sucked into these kinds of bubbles. The algorithm is like optimized towards that you're staying engaged. And so a lot of technology is optimized towards that you are glued to the screen because they want to sell ad revenue, or like they want to sell ad time. And that is something when brain rot is basically like, we need to be aware of as users of what is this app doing to you? Like, why are you engaging with this app in this current moment? It's like, are you right now like bored in a sense of, okay, I'm waiting for the tube and therefore I just have time to scroll through. Okay, fine. But then okay, I could do something else. Like I need to do studies, or I could see friends, or stuff like that. But you're so glued to that. Like you want to start to think about, okay, is something wrong here? It's like I'm neglecting something which is very important for my functioning.
This is something I wanted to add to this, because I feel like brain rot also kind of ruins social interactions as well with your friends, because obviously, so apps like Instagram and everything have the functions to obviously kind of encourage people to socialize. So, well, I mean, social media, right?
Yeah.
So the whole idea is, okay, when you see like a reel that you like, or that reminds you of your friend, you send it to your friend. But now it's become so, I guess, so much content that people see it as a chore to look at what your friend sent you. It feels like homework almost to look at everything that your friend sent you now, because it's just so much content and it gets really overwhelming.
It's basically, if you think about that, you're trying to have a social connection again with your friend, but so like, okay, here, like almost like if you think about old times, like Stone Age times, like, okay, you're sharing something which you value, which is funny to you, which is bringing you benefit. Like, in old times, it would be foods, like here's a steak. And the other one's like, oh, yummy, yummy steak.
Thank you.
But now basically this kind of, okay, I want to enhance your lives. Like, this is funny, tee-hee-hees. Like, I want you to have I want to also have a tee-hee-hee. And then they're like, yeah, okay, but you're getting so overloaded with this kind of stuff.
So going back to what you said about understanding why you're in that space and why you're using that technology or application, and like what emotional need are you kind of fulfilling in that moment? Can you talk a bit more about that? So is it kind of things like, because we're bored, we're on this platform, are we seeking that connection?
It could be multiple things. So like, for example, it could be like, the term for that is like mood repairing. I'm feeling down. I had a breakup. You're going online and trying to distract yourself. Like, you're trying to feel the pain in that moment. Or you basically boredom, for example. There are multiple motivations why you want to engage with technology. It's more this kind of, okay, you want to have like this endorphins, like when you're exploring something, or you want to have the giggles when you see something funny. You want to connect. Which is quite interesting. So the moment when you have the phone in your hands, it's not only the positive stuff which is coming to you, it's also the stress. So for example, if you think about that, you have a phone and then you have your emails.
Yeah, true.
Happens to me all the time. But for me, it's like my Teams, and then it's like I'm opening my phone, and then it's like bing, 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 bing. It's like, I have a question. Yes, I have also a question, but it's like Friday 9 p.m. and you should all go to bed now.
How about you have a question tomorrow?
It's funny. So somehow with my students, like there's somehow the whenever they have some questions, apparently it's always at 3 a.m. in the morning, and
it's because you procrastinate everything until last minute. So then at 3 a.m. because I can relate to this.
All right. Maybe you can help me out.
Okay. It's because you're not going to wake up in time in the morning to ask the question at a reasonable time. And then you're also going to forget the next day, right? So you just, now that I remembered, I have to do it now. You know? I think that's what it is. Like
sometimes, yeah. So, but it's funny. So because then it's like it's deadline times. Like I'm working on a paper,
especially in deadline times.
And then it's like also my master students, also my PhD students are coming in. It's like, so I have a question, but you could answer this tomorrow. It's like, okay, what is it? It's like, hey, you're still awake, so could we have like? They figured it out.
See, this is when you don't reply. You reply the next day.
So here's so like good technology tips, like schedule response. That's a magical button. So like also if you have a question, like schedule the question.
Oh, that's true.
So you could schedule once you want to have the question.
That's true. So scheduling emails, that's actually a really good one. Yeah.
That's a really good tip.
Of course, like trying, so like this tangles, like we are now in this age where work and leisure times are basically overlapping and blurring more and more together, which is a little bit, can become difficult for people to manage.
Yeah.
So, for example, when you're saying it's like, oh, I'm just quickly checking emails, and then you're getting easily dragged into that. It's like, oh, I need to call Samantha now because of the lab, blah 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 blah. All of these kinds of things could basically damage you or could affect your mental well-being. It's like you're in the moment, like you're, for example, on vacation, and then you're getting this email, and it's like. All the wonderful time you had before is like down the drain because somebody wrote a stupid email to you.
So would you suggest to students, because obviously this is the podcast is more targeted towards students and stuff, would you suggest that they basically find time to separate these two a bit more? Do you think that's a bit more helpful?
I don't want to sound like a boomer, so I know that this will not work.
Yeah.
What I'm recommending, or what I'm always recommending, is planning. Try to schedule.
Yeah.
Try to set yourself deadlines. So, for example, you have a deadline coming up, and you know when it's happening. So, like, try to break down what you have to achieve, and really, really work towards setting yourself goals and trying to manage your time. And what I'm also always telling my students, and most of the time that they're not doing it, and then they're going through the panic mode, and after the panic mode, they're realizing that Martin was right, is try to work constantly. It's like in small chunks. Rather than trying to have like the whole thing at one thing. Sometimes it doesn't work. So like for example, if you have like exam coming up or when you're writing your dissertation or when you're doing your research project, there's always.
I just finished my dissertation, by the way.
So how was it for you? Did you do chunk or did you?
See, this is actually absolutely okay. This is
right.
actually something I wanted to talk about. I have a problem, as a lot of students I think have this problem, where I think I have a lot of time. And then somehow I end up at the end of the line having to do loads and loads and loads of work that I could have done as I go. Yeah. But the thing is, something that I think I struggle with and something that I'm trying to understand with this whole do it as you go thing is I have a tendency to basically get too into a subject and then don't do what's prioritized. Basically end up procrastinating it and not getting the rest of it done. So what do you think could make it easier?
First of all, this is not only a student problem. That's like academics, like it's always a problem. So I can totally relate to that because I'm doing the same most of the time as well. So I'm trying to I'm sharing what I'm trying to do is and trying to manage the time. On one side, what I'm thinking is like trying to schedule. It's like what I'm having in my diary is like, okay, I have a calendar where I'm basically saying, okay, for the next 2 hours, I'm working on project social anxiety and cybersecurity. Yeah. After that, I have 2 hours where I'm working on emails. It's like for these 2 hours, I'm setting myself a goal and saying, okay, I need to reach this and this and this. Like,
so just forcing yourself to kind of, okay, this is my deadline for this subject. Even if I want to get more into it, I can't. I need to move on.
If you find that there's something that you need more time, you can put it into the next time slot for your project. Yeah. So, oh, okay, this is an interesting one, but I need to move on for now. But I'm putting into like pinpoints and saying, okay, this is where I took off. Was like this, this, and this. But it's like what I would avoid is basically that you're saying, oh, this is an interesting thing. I need to drill deeper, because then basically it's like you are staying on this interesting spot. You need that time. It's like it's really important. It's like it's. I don't want you to think like, oh, this is stupid. I'm doing something dumb. It's like no, you're doing the right thing because you're curious and you as a researcher you want to explore topics. Yeah. What I'm recommending is basically is like if there's deadlines, plan out what you have to do and also protect your time.
Protect your time. Yeah.
That's something which I'm struggling a lot. Is basically this kind of okay. I need to have time to write. I need to have time to develop stuff. But then, of course, when you are in the role of an academic, like as a lecturer or like as a professor, it's like there are admin stuff, and you want to be there for your students. So and then it's like students are coming in. It's like, oh, I have a question. It's like, oh, this is very interesting. It's like, what is it? It's like, have you thought about? It was like, okay, have you thought about cheese and salsa? It's like,
what?
Yeah.
You get sometimes these questions, which is lovely.
Yeah.
But the important point is what coming back to your questions, like again, it's like I'm repeating myself in that sense. Like I'm trying, and I'm struggling as well a lot with that. Is try to plan what you have to do per day and per week. So like what are set yourself goals and then also check them off. So like
and realistic goals, because I feel like a lot of the times I set myself unrealistic goals, or I think something to also keep in mind, because this is something that I feel like is part of this procrastinating problem, is I feel like a lot of students or people in general, if they deal with stuff like depression and stuff, like I deal with it personally, for example, and I just get really, really tired. I know I have to do this. I know it's better if I do it now instead of doing that last, super, super anxiety inducing clutch at the end. But sometimes I just feel like too tired and can't do it.
That's totally fine. Yeah. So like the important point is you also need to it is a goal to have a good mental health and give yourself the time. So and that's that sounds a little bit like hippie, but it's like book yourself the time to do well-being stuff. Like book in time to video game, book time into
to do things that help you recharge, I guess. Because also I think something to keep in mind for people like me, guys, if you're like me, is that I think the more you leave it, the more it becomes worse. And I know that it's hard and everything to do it now and do it as you go, but it's like it will be even worse later if you leave it later, I think.
I would rephrase it.
Oh.
Think positive. Always try to think positive.
Yeah.
It is such an amazing feeling when you go to your checklist, to your do list, and you can cross it off.
I relate to that so much.
Like,
yeah.
You want to have this cool boost. It's like, bam, I'm doing
ticking
this.
things off. Yeah.
And so, for example, what I'm also doing, I'm bribing, for example, my student a lot with candy.
Oh.
That's so good though. That's great.
Like last terms, like I had several undergrad students writing their dissertations. They struggle a lot with it's like several were homesick. So this kind of stuff. So like what helped then basically was like, okay, why don't you write together? And it's like, here's some cookies, and like here's the office, you write together, fun. So like
having a space where you can do all these things that's kind of outside your room or outside, that's also really helpful.